Jacobs, Harold Foster, David Kriel, Sebastian de Klerk, Devin Williams. On the bench, it's John Els, Alu Tekwene, Francois Klopper, Sintu Majensi, Nama Kaba, Zach Burger, Stetman Gans, and Willie Leroux. Um, I think just for now, before there's any questions, you'll see for Nicolas Jansen van Rensburg is coming in because Kobus Visa has unfortunately have got the concussion protocol he must get through. So that ruled him out for this weekend. And then Cheswell Jooste unfortunately got a bit of a tight hamstring. So we don't want to risk him. And therefore, Stravino is coming in, and that obviously filters through to the bench where Sintu gets his opportunity to come on the bench, and then on the reserve scrum off is just a rotation where we felt we just want to give Zach opportunity, and Paul is gonna miss out for this weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, open for questions. Thank you.
Coach Akkers, is I'm Michael Fabian. Last week we saw almost 100 points scored in 80 minutes of play. Will we see it tighten up in defense structures for you guys?
Is it Carl? I'm sure not sure who asked the question.
Carl.
Is it Carl? Oh yeah, Carl.
Yeah.
Carl. I hope so. Obviously, it wasn't good to concede that many points. We're just fortunate that we scored more, but some of the tries was a bit on the easy or soft side. So we know that Leinster is one of the best, the best team in this competition. So they definitely got, gonna finish you if they get the same opportunity. So we need to tighten up, and that was a focus for us. Hopefully we can tighten up in 7 days.
Appreciate it, sir.
Nicholas, please go.
Thanks, Zuckers. You mentioned that Zach Burger would get a chance ahead of Paul. I'm just looking at the squad list on your website, and you have Paul de Wet there. Is that just a mistake on the website?
Probably yes. Sorry for that. Zach is definitely on the bench and not Paul this weekend. We told them already 2 weeks in advance that for the first 2 weeks we're going to rotate them, and then we'll obviously take all three for the tour, and then we'll take it from there if we're going to keep on rotating. And eventually, if one is taking the opportunities and playing the best rugby, he'll get the opportunity.
Right, so it's a bit of rotation. Just a bit about Leinster. Are you expecting to face a bit of a wounded Irish side that's going to come at you with full strength?
No, for sure. No, that you can take nothing from last week. I think credit to the Stormers, they played well, but that was probably a Leinster that we won't see again. They're going to come out and want to rectify that. So I think everything from intensity to what they want to produce, they're going to bring for this weekend, and we obviously can't afford to play like we played last week. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good day for us.
Thanks, and all the best.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thanks, Brendan.
How's it, Akkers? Morning. Just on that, obviously, we all know Jacques Nienaber's defense. You guys scored a lot of points last week. Have you picked up anything or any vulnerabilities? I know they don't have many. And also on that, I would take it the players are probably relishing a chance to face them again after the final. I know you weren't there, but I'm sure a lot of them are.
Yeah, on the first question, I think we expect a lot more pressure than last week from that we received, and so I think the opportunities will be limited, as Jock from a defensive point seldom give a team as many opportunities as he did last week. So that's why I said we didn't took anything from last week. We reset this whole thing and focus on ourselves, on the things we didn't do well, and there was a lot of things that we didn't do well. So for us to give ourselves a chance, we need to fix that. And then Yeah, I mean, there's a few players that will probably look back at last year and see it, and they maybe also will want to get one up because of what that it is a team that played the finals. But there's a lot of players, that also wasn't involved with the final myself. So, I'm not a big of hammering about the past. We can only control what we can, and this is a team that we have to trust can do the job. And similar to them, they've left a few players behind, and they've got a group here that they feel need to do the job. So I think it's a whole new season and a new challenge for us.
Thanks, Akers.
Thanks, Brendan.
Nicholas, is that an old hand or a new hand?
Sorry, it's an old hand. Let me lower it. Sorry about
Okay, we've got Envia in the room with us. Envia.
Couldn't get the questions over there, so but it needs something that will give me. The defense was obviously a bit of a problem, but how much of that was due to a bit of rustiness, settling into a new system?
Yeah.
And how are you going to address that?
Yeah, we didn't had a lot of warm-up games, Emia, and we didn't had a lot of contact in our sessions. That's probably my fault. I think we could have probably, got a bit more contact before we went into the games. But I think in the back of my mind, we were limited in certain positions from an injury point of view, and you don't want to play your risk that you going to lose more players, and therefore you rather want 23 players that can get out on a Saturday. So I think the good thing is, that we were made aware of those areas, and we got, like I said, a week to fix some of it. Again, the question is, Leinster is going to give you other challenges that Ospreys did, so hopefully we will deal with that. But it is an area that we need to constantly work on, and even with the ball, we were not good. But back to your question, the defence, we can't give Leinster a 12-0 lead and think you're just going to come back. So we need to be sharp from the start.
And then obviously you talk about injuries, but next week you're going to have a whole treasure trove.
Yeah.
What's the plan in terms of their rotation? Who's going to play? Who's going to come back Saturday, take a little break?
Yeah, I've got a plan at the moment on paper on how we're going to integrate the guys. But the first thing is, after Saturday's 80 minutes, that's going to be a big influence on that plan. If we get injury-free, all 23 that are playing has got no issues, plus like Kobus comes back, plus like Chesel comes back from Jan Serfontein is obviously out for this weekend because of a little groin problem. So if those players are all fit, then that will determine how we're going to use the Springboks. As it stands at this current moment, they're all joining us in Ireland. But we can change that literally on Saturday night, where one or two will come back and join us later. Others will come back during the tour. So each individual, they're all aware that if injuries change that can change the plan. But as it stands, we will reassess that on Saturday after the game.
One more question, in terms of the Springboks now. When you arrived here, the Springboks were sort of in swing already. They were in camp.
Yeah.
Were you in contact with them? How would they fit into the new system? Communicate with?
Yeah, we had a quick meeting. So after they came back from New Zealand, we had a catch-up here at the office where we spoke to them about a lot of things, off the field things that I would like us to look at, and just our values and etc. And then on the field, Chris spoke to him about from an attacking point of view. It is going to be tough. That's why, next week, again, we have to deal once they are in camp, call it in camp, will join us up in Ireland. We'll have to just transfer them. But they are the best of the best. Look at Willie when he came, it was 2 days late and he played, and he slotted in quickly. So we trust that those guys will come in and it will be easier transition. The question still remains, who we want to play in that first week, who not. So obviously the guys who's not involved in the first week will have a few more sessions. And then also we may play some of them only off the bench, while they're integrating. So it all that depends on that. But no, I mean, they're quality players. Hopefully they'll slot in easily.
I know last injuries. Are you going to let us know what the injuries are. If our teams are doing, give us an injury.
Oh.
It's in today's announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been open. I told Clint and our medical staff, I like for that not to hide behind it, but I like it to be out in the clear so that people know, not necessarily in detail like every date, possible return date, but just who's available and who's not available. Yeah.
Thanks, Kanyiso.
Thank you very much, Clinton, and good afternoon, everyone. Akers, good afternoon. I hope all is well.
Yes.
I don't know if you came across the communique from World Rugby yesterday regarding player welfare and players having to play a maximum of 30 games in a calendar year. What do you make of that, and how significant is it, considering the fact that South African teams and the Boks seem to just play non-stop rugby?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in the coming, because of the amount of rugby and if you think, there's only 52 weeks and there's 30 weeks already, and then, the remainder of that you need to prepare the team, you need to get them physically ready, and also I know when I was in England, there was already a 5-week compulsory break. So that's another 5 weeks that's out of the calendar. I think in South Africa, I've been out of the country and coming back. I do think that the players has been managed quite well, especially the Springbok players, considering we have to give them a compulsory 3-week break and obviously some other rest periods. So I think that is fine. I don't know how they got to the amount of 30. I mean, if the French teams play a lot of rugby, they've got, they're a top 14 team. That means 13 times twice, home and away is 26. And then you got semi-final and final, and you got European that they play. And so I don't know how they're going to get to 30, but saying that they're going to be similar where we have to rest players, they're probably going to just have to rest players and try and juggle that. But I think hopefully we can collaborate with South Africa Rugby as well, SA Rugby, because then it will help if we don't have 15 tests in one calendar year, because that means there's now only 15 games left for us to play the players. And again, if you think about the amount of URC games plus warm-up games plus European games, then it's even more rest without the compulsory rest. So if they can limit the test rugby also to 10 or 11 tests a year, it gives us a bit of leeway. So that's all those things where hopefully we can take hands and collaborate and not just play tests for the sake of it.
And how tricky does that make recruitment then? Because there's also the significant matter of the Currie Cup, where players are not necessarily getting URC time, they need to be filtered into the Currie Cup.
Yeah, testing your squad, it's massively. So obviously that, again, like you just mentioned, some players that don't play a lot in the URC, they're still actively training week after week after week, and then we expect them to go play Currie Cup. It's an ongoing debate about the Currie Cup, about is it in the right time slot? Is it, there's obviously sponsors involved, etc. So I'm not in that position to make decisions, but again, it's all about that player welfare. I think the player that doesn't play URC a lot, in fairness, he won't play 30 games, but he's still trained. He still has to be here every day. It is still a mental well-being to give the guys proper breaks in between.
Thanks. Is everyone happy? Guys, thanks for hopping on the call. Appreciate that. Coach Akers, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers, everyone.
Dankie julle. All the best. Bye-bye julle. Dankie. Dankie. Okay. Is that it? Thanks a lot. Thanks. Hy is reg. Hy's reg. Well, great. Well, ek kry so lank vir hy sê, "Vra of you want."